Welcome to the One NFP Financials and Financials Lite training in the General Journal. So when you're working in the system, you're going to be working in several different types of journals depending on what it is you're trying to do. Right now, this training is focused just on the General Journal. You're going to use that for adjusting entries directly to GL accounts, bank-to-bank transfers. So let's go ahead and click General Journal from the Role Center. What opens up is the template list. This is specific to the Gen Journal because you could actually be posting different transaction types. In my example here, I have both actual and budget. Budget we'll discuss in another training. These are going to be actual entries that I want to show you, so let's click Actual. Let's widen the page a little bit. Let's start off with batch. So the idea of batches is to allow you to segregate work, and there could be different reasons why you do that. You may have a couple of users who are both in the Gen Journal. You give them their own batch, that way they're in there and they're not stepping on each other's toes. You may have a work reason for segregating batches, so you might have interest entries and payroll entries. So you could have separate batches for that. And to define that, you just click the lookup and you can enter. You can also define a balance account, and that will default the account that's on each line. So I'm going to show you one of the features in the system. It's called Standard Journals. This allows you to memorize entries and then pull them in. So these would be repeated entries. I did this for training, so you're not having to watch me type because that's not the most exciting thing in the world. So I want to walk through the fields and show you some of the, explain some of the options. So posting date and document date are going to be required. They don't have to be the same date. You're going to have a document number, and within a document number it needs to balance. The debits and credits have to net to 0. This is a single line entry, so I just have the one of this document number. Account type, you could have vendor, you could have bank. The only time you're going to select bank here on this field is if it's a bank-to-bank transfer. Vendor, you could use this journal most of the time. If you're doing anything with a vendor, you are much more likely to be using the purchase or the payment journal. Account number, you can click the lookup here. As with all of our lookups, you can filter on the columns, you can sort ascending, descending to help you find accounts when you don't know the account number offhand. Description, you have 50 characters, up to 50 characters. This posts to the ledger so you can search on it. Dimension speed key, you can see I use that down here. It's a keystroke saver. You can save, you can define speed keys. They have a fund and one or more of your dimensions, and it just saves you steps if you have a common combination that you use. Your debit amount, and this first line, because it's a single line entry, I have to have my balance. So my balancing account in this case is my bank account. So I'm depositing money into my bank account is what this is doing. So then let's look at the next set of entries. I have 4 lines here with the same document number. This is a multi-line entry, so I'm spreading multiple entries across multiple lines. So if we look, we've got 3 lines where I'm defining money going in, and then here's the balancing entry to the bank account for the total amount. This works exactly the same as this single line entry. This is in essence, this is the balance entry that we're accomplishing by defining the balance account up here. When you're doing a multi-line entry like this, please understand though you need to only define one bank one time. You can only have one line with a bank account on it. Otherwise, the system will return an error. Finally, I've got an example of a bank-to-bank transfer where I've selected my savings account and my balance account is my checking account. So what I'm doing, I'm depositing $1,000, taking it out of my savings account and putting it into my checking account. So one other thing to note about the Gen Journal, you can import into the journal. There is a template available on the Knowledge Center, and you can import your entries that way. So that's the Gen Journal. Thank you, and keep your eye out for more training.